All right. Hello. Welcome to our next installment of Ready, Set, Connect, our project management webinar series. Great to have you all joining us here today live. I want to cover what we're going to cover here today. We've got a profit fade focused webinar here. So what we're focusing on is getting profit to not fade as we get into the project. You know, profit fade being expected profit decreasing over time. Lots of things feeding that, right? You know, bad estimating. You know, change orders really come to mind when I think about it. But I'll kick it over to Rob. Rob, what does this mean to you? What does profit fade mean to you? Where's that focus lie?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, my perspective comes from the commercial interior space, right? And the biggest thing, you know, the biggest part of my experience and my role coming up in New York, you know, in Midtown, doing commercial interiors, general conditions, you know, profit fade. To me, you know, you win the job during buyout, right? Obviously, you know, the bidding and estimating, you know, it's kind of similar to real estate. You know, your profit's made during the deal when you sign the contract, right? Everything else is sort of what you can control after the fact. And that's where the operations side, that's where real project management kicks in, right? Where being able to manage things like general conditions, you know, what's my labor on site? What's my, you know, my office expense? How much is my super costing, right? What kind of materials am I expending on time, right? What on job site? What about, you know, garbage pickup, right? Dumpsters, all those things that people kind of sweep under the rug at the end of the day, you know, that isn't important to field users, right? They're trying to build the project, but it is important to us office staff because there's real numbers associated with that stuff, right? And we know it, and trying to get that translated back to the field without upsetting the apple cart in a way that's going to be detrimental to the overall success of the project, you know, that's where a lot of friction's caused, right? And we know it. We've all experienced it before, that friction between the PM and between the field users. So first and foremost, general conditions, you know, being relayed through daily reports, through photos, right? That's huge, right? So
definitely photos, yeah.
That, right? So we're going to dive into that a little bit. You know, not to sound like a broken record, we talked about it already in this series, change orders, right? Change orders is a huge part of profit fade, mostly, right, negating profit fade, right? You're going to have change orders on a job, right? Things are going to go wrong. You know, you're going to have to duke it out with somebody at some point over a design flaw, over an existing site condition, over a subcontractor doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, right? You're going to run into that, right? How we offset that in the industry is change orders, right? And nobody wants to have change orders, right? You sign a contract, right? You know, friendly handshake afterwards, no change orders, right? It's like, yeah, we'll see. But that's all got to get documented somewhere. And we're going to document that in ProjectSight. We're going to give project managers a place where they can feel free to create drafted change orders, to spitball ideas, to log things down that may be change orders at some point coming down the road without all the formality of keeping it in the accounting system and without the looseness of keeping it in some Excel spreadsheet on their Google Drive somewhere, right? And then lastly, I have quality control here. Quality control issues, callbacks, right? That's a huge point of profit fade, right? Taking equipment on and off a job, having to call back subcontractors, having to send, you know, field staff out onto job sites after the fact, right? Not only is it bad for profit fade within the job, but it's also terrible for profit fade long term as far as reputation is concerned, having all those callbacks, right? So quality control is something that we cover in ProjectSight as well. So those were my three sort of on my short list, Dave.
Nice.
A little different from your civil experience. I'm sure you got a different perspective, but that's what it means to me. Profit fade, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, we different. You know, materials were huge for us, and you know, change orders not as much out in, you know, heavy highway contracting, right? Still important, still key. All right, so the platform we're using today, you guys should have a Q&A box that you can enter in your questions. Please do. We'll get to as many as we can at the end. You should know us by now. Dave Thomas, my counterpart, Rob Filer. We are ProjectSight specialists here, Trimble Viewpoint. Just to highlight, for folks who haven't joined us before, if we talk about Trimble Connect down here at the bottom, that's just our file system for ProjectSight. We're going to be covering project management piece, which is right in the middle. Talked about profit fade. I mentioned estimating not only the job, but estimating change orders effectively can reduce profit fade. And we have other solutions here at Trimble which are going to feed into ProjectSight where you can solve the estimating side over there on the left side, second end. Solutions like WinEst. All right, let's get in and show you guys some solutions here. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Let's go entire screen and make sure we get this right since we're live here. All right, should be sharing. I think Rob can double check that.
Yeah, you're sharing. Okay,
excellent. All right, we're going to get right into it today. Jumping into our Brandon Square facility project here. This is a TC1 connected project, so it's connecting into accounting via our TC1 connection.
We are seeing your whole desktop though, just to let you know, Dave.
Okay, good. Yeah, in case I want to drag and drop any files, I leave a little bit of space there just to do that. All right, want to start out with the change order piece real quickly. We did cover this last week, so might be a review for some. We'll dive into the other areas Rob mentioned in a second. I'm going to jump into the budget. So this budget screen connected into my accounting system. This project is a Vista financial system backing it up. But if any of you all were in the Spectrum User Summit yesterday, I think there was a great session where we were talking about the Spectrum connection. The details of that, I think they might have even shown it. So that's coming real soon. We're really excited about that. Why should that matter to you all? It's driven by our new acquisition, Rivet, premier platform for connecting construction solutions together. We're excited to see this, not just what they're doing today, but what's coming in the future, right? All right, so looking at the grid here, we got our estimate rolling in, and we're tracking change orders in various states, kicking those change orders back to accounting when it makes sense to do so, when they're approved. And so capturing that early stage change order. Maybe it's a status of a change order, right? Maybe it's dedicated resources, but not officially a change order. We have a status code that you could set so you could track those change orders early stage, still get them into your projected costs, right? That's what we're trying to do here is get these change orders in pending state, pending and approximate, these guys, to get our numbers so we know where we are. So we're not surprised once these change orders are approved. Oh, I forgot to include them in my forecast, and they kind of blindside you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this screen's gonna let you see it all in one nice, clean interface built for the field. We could drill down into these. We could drill down to this labor or this APM or senior PM labor code, and we could see the details, right? We could see any change orders impacting it, any invoices we issued out here, any transfers between these codes, and we could go right to that change order, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I like about it, because you can actually see, you know, I don't like too much information on my budget screen, right? So I don't like all of those columns there. I don't need to look at all of those columns every single day, right? I want to see my actuals. I want to see projected costs. I want to see the original budget. I want to see some you know, positive, negative metrics in there, but I don't need to see all of that. Right? I don't want to get too confused. So I like how you can move those columns around and really make it your own. But then when you need to dive into a phase code, right, or a budget code, right, you dive into it, you click into it, and it'll bring up what's pushing against that line item, right? I like that. You know, your general conditions, if your general conditions doesn't have, you know, 6 things associated with it, once you click into that, you know, you gotta figure that out, because I think that is number one, at least where in the world that I come from, is that those general conditions, you're burning through them at a rate that is just, not viable. So you got to know that. You got to know you putting general condition change orders in there early and often, as we say. So.
Yep. And just to further Rob's point, what he was mentioning, early stage tracking, we've got the ability. I jumped in that PCO4, and we've got the ability to track any records that are feeding this PCO, feed the need, right?
Yeah.
I think it came from an RFI and 2 issues that trickled down to an RFI that eventually got escalated here to a PCO. Any documentation, any photos, right? Any field conditions, we're attaching those. Digital staple, so it's all here. You come back in 2 years down the road, you got it all at your fingertips. And then most importantly, we push it through a workflow, approval, email, really easy to get the correspondence back and forth to get approval. And then we send it over to accounting. No room for error as far as losing ones and zeros off the end of a line item. It's going right in there with the right approvals, right controls, and updating your PCO log over at accounting.
I like it. I like it, Dave. Yeah, that workflow is something that we're putting a lot of money into within Trimble.
Yeah.
So we're really investing heavily. We were actually on a very large call, sort of a lunch with the executives of Trimble, right? You got to love when corporations do that. It's a lot of fun. It's how we receive a lot of information. It's a chance for us internally to ask some questions. And Dave and I, who've been with ProjectSight for a number of years now, we're very heavily invested in this product, and we flat out asked, "Hey, what's going on? Are we putting money into this?" And I was very encouraged. I know Dave was encouraged by the response that we received from Trimble leadership as to the amounts that they're investing into bettering things like workflow and other modules within ProjectSight. So this is really where we're putting a lot of our interest internally into getting things out and improvements. So lots of good stuff.
Yeah, you bet. And that's one thing I wanted to show today was, we've got our release notes here for ProjectSight. We can see live, hey, what's been doing. Yeah, and we can, folks ask, how much are you working on this project or ProjectSight? How much on this product? Is it really just, getting going? You look at our release notes. This one, 3 releases, and this is just browser side in the last month in March. So we had some mobile releases as well. So, we're putting the money where our mouth is and getting it done.
Yeah, especially coming off of things like the Vista Conference, Spectrum Summit that just happened a couple days ago, Con Expo. Dave and I were both at Con Expo showing ProjectSight, and people are really curious. Hey, is this thing for real? Are you guys really, are you punching above your weight class? Are you at the Procore level yet? And we're saying, yeah, absolutely. We're taking people off Procore every day, and we're only improving on the things that we're doing well already. So lots of great stuff coming down.
Right. Absolutely. And to that point, folks ask, can you do everything that competition can do? We all do things a little differently. There are some bells and whistles we don't have yet in ProjectSight, but one area where we excel is that connection, simply because Trimble owns Vista, owns Spectrum. Of course, we can plug into other accounting systems as well, but that, our bread and butter is communicating, building Vista, building Spectrum to better communicate with not just ProjectSight, but the rest of Trimble.
That's right. That's right. Hey, if you guys have any individual questions or you'd like to have us walk through what does profit fade mean to you, right? What does it mean to you in your industry, in your vertical? How does that influence your decision making as a company? Please put that in the chat, right? So Dave and I can address it, right? Lots of different ways to configure ProjectSight. Lots of cool things that we can do in here.
Yeah, I think first I wanted to hit on what Rob was mentioning, kind of the quality control aspect, managing what's being built, tracking what's conforming, what's not. So I want to pull up our checklist module here. We've got some QA/QC. We've got a material receiving report. These are configured templates which you can copy, tweak, add drop downs. Here you'll see we have pass, fail, yes, no. We also have text fields, drop downs, open text. And this is just what it looks like on the browser side. I really wanted to highlight the mobile experience as well, where you're out in the field, you're snapping photos, and real cool feature, which is unique to ProjectSight, is being able to attach photos and videos, not just to the checklist as a whole. That's great. That's a great functionality, but on a specific line item. So all these line items we have in this material receiving report, you can attach a photo. So let me drag this over.
Yeah. Yeah. And something huge that, I think that as, the term project management really gets sort of associated with GCs mostly, right? And that's unfortunate because, there's so much project management done at the subcontractor level that sort of goes unrecognized, right? So from a subcontractor perspective, right, profit fade to me means some superintendent bossing around my guys, having them doing favors, having them do work that's taking them off of what needs to be accomplished. That's in the contract, right? And the checklist here, talk about getting overtime approved on the field, right? Getting change orders as a subcontractor approved from the field, right? That's how you're doing that with this checklist here, right? So you're able to create a change order or an overtime approval ticket within a checklist, within the ProjectSight module, on the iPad, on the phone, and you're able to grab a wet signature from the GC, from whoever, document the work that's being completed, document how many man hours that's taken. That way you can have that as a record, right? I used to argue tickets all the time, tickets that didn't go completed. And that's just the way the industry works, so protect yourself from things like, like doing work and not getting paid for it by being able to empower your foreman or your users without needing to pay for 35 licenses, right? Unlimited users within ProjectSight that can pull up ProjectSight on their phone. Hey, you want me to stay over? I can stay over. Yeah, I don't have anything going on tonight. That's fine. I don't need to check with my PM, but I need you to sign this ticket. Yep. You don't need a subcontract PM to walk the job, take a look at what the change order is and then, have them sign the ticket anymore, right? And now a foreman can make that call if you want them to, right? Save you gas money, save your project managers the hassle, keep them in the office, keep them walking other jobs, right? So lots of powerful stuff here.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, Rob mentioned that digital sign off in the field. I mentioned this attaching photos, and you'll see here too, as we're tracking items in these checklists, like I mentioned, we can capture photos for each line item or the checklist as a whole, can comment on an individual line item, push a notification out, get an email notification, get a response, have that feed right back in, and we could assign out tasks right from the checklist line item, right? Not even the checklist as a whole. So any details, really flexible here. All right, that's all I wanted to show you all on checklists. Let me close out my mirror here, jump back to the browser. Jump back into my dashboard here. All right, so we talked about change orders, tracking really early stage change. You could do that in issues as well, like that one change order, that PCO4 I pulled up on the screen, originated as an issue, became an RFI, tie that into a PCO once it becomes a PCO, and that PCO is going to probably become an approved change order down the road. Flows into accounting, easy peasy, nothing lost along the way, right?
Yeah.
Other area we talked about, general conditions, tracking general conditions in the daily reports as well, right? It's not just those checklists. We could tie a checklist to a daily and make sure we're tracking daily tasks, daily accomplishments, progress photos, right? Rob mentioned that key. I mean, that's a no-brainer these days, right?
Yeah, yeah. The
Can't do
beautiful
that
thing
enough.
about this the daily reports module is when we're creating them on the mobile device, you're going to create a daily report, and you can have a default assignee for that. We talked about this before. You have the default assignee as the project manager, or maybe you want to CC, courtesy copy down there in the bottom right on Dave's screen, right? Maybe you want to CC the ops chief or whoever it is that is going to be reviewing these, or whoever's responsible for them on site. Maybe they don't want to talk to the super every day. Maybe that's not the level of interaction, but maybe they just want to have an inbox folder in their mailbox where they receive all the daily reports, right? They could go through them. It's going to create these. It's going to send out that email that says new daily report created for this project on this date. And it has the PDF of that daily report with all the photos, with the attachments included in it in their email inbox, so that they can go through whenever they find the time to do that, right? So another great feature of ProjectSight in the daily reports, right? That's something that a lot of our competitors, right? We win a lot of business on things like that, being able to have those reports fully with the photos populate in someone's inbox. All right, so Dave's attaching a couple of photos there right now for us. All right.
Those are going to shoot out via email. And we got this great summary of everything tied to this daily report. Maybe we have a checklist as well.
Yep.
Go full screen to any of these just by clicking that open new tab. You can spit out a nice formatted version of this, right? If it's going external, or maybe it's going up to the execs. You want to spit out a nice formatted report with everything organized with your logo. Real easy. That's what you can do right from the screen.
That's right. That's right. All right.
And Rob's mentioning tracking kind of the little things, right? Porta potties, dumpsters. We can track anything we want here in the custom fields tab, the configurability. Portable restroom, right? Maybe that disappears at some point. You're still getting billed for it. That's fade. That's profit fade right there. That's lost dollars. Here you can track it, claim, say, hey, that vendor, no, disappeared 2 months ago. I'm not paying for that.
Mm.
All right, I think we're right up against our time. Want to get some questions in there, or anything else we want to show here. Oh, I think we got a good one, Rob. We got someone who's pretty certain, the management, C-level is not going to want to spend the money on a new PM solution.
Yeah.
How can you justify the ROI for this solution here? It's a great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. So justifying ROI is something that we let the platform and things like references really speak for itself. ProjectSight is not out of the gate. We're not on the cutting edge of project management by any means, right? We're not pretending like we are. I think that Trimble very strategically held off to sort of enter the project management game until there was market space available, right? And there is, and people are paying way more than what ProjectSight costs out there in the industry today for a variety of solutions, right? Yeah. So the ROI is absolutely there. The market has proven itself, right? Yep. I think the question is why ProjectSight and why now, right? And typically, right, from the executive level, right, the C-suite sees this. They need to see the dollar and cents. They need to know that change orders are going to be good. They need to know that the stability of the company of Trimble is good, that it's going to be a good professional relationship, and they need to know that spend on a project management solution is forecastable, right? And ProjectSight does all of those things, right? Our contract terms, right, are very, very, it's a professional agreement, right? We don't raise the contract midterm. right? We can factor in the growth. If you wanted to fast forward and tell us exactly how big of a company you're going to be, how much work you're going to be putting through the project management system, we could tell you exactly how much it's going to cost. So those conversations typically go over really great in the suite as far as what that spend for ProjectSight is going to be. So I wouldn't think that would be as big of an issue. I think just bringing people to the table to have an honest conversation about their needs, about how they're doing things now, about how the marketplace has changed, about incoming talent and what the expectations are as far as technology. I think that all of those things, that's a greater conversation, and that's more important, right? We don't hurt anyone's feelings here, but we do try to be consultative. This is the way that your competitors are doing business. This is what's out there today. This is what's being used. This is the technology that's expected when you put it in a bid packet. What's your project management solution? That is a question that's asked on many bid packages today. And if you think you're not losing jobs because of it, maybe we gotta ask some people or see who's winning those jobs. I think the cool thing about the civil side is that you can see exactly who's winning those jobs, right? When it's federally funded, state-funded jobs.
Yep.
And you look at what who's winning the jobs, what they're using. I guarantee you most of them have project management solutions. So it just makes life easier for everyone, for the architect, for the engineer, for the owner groups, for the subcontractors. Is it a little bit of a hurdle to get over initially? Yes. But, I think overall the ROI is there. So that's a very long-winded answer to your question. And I'll get off my soapbox and I'll pass the mic over to Dave again. I think we're out of time. But hopefully that does it justice.
Yeah, Rob had a great point there. I just want to touch on is attracting young talent with solutions. I hear that more and more, and ProjectSight's one of those ways you can do that. Gives you that capability to manage 3D design files as that becomes more and more, the BIM space, VDC, as that becomes more and more of a requirement. Folks anticipating that, but I'm seeing huge uptick in the percentage of projects that are requiring that today in the U.S. Time finally here. Yeah, and this system is going to give you a platform. When you do encounter that, you're going to have ProjectSight built in with Trimble's 3D viewing and collaboration technology out of the gate, so you're ready to roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, talk about, you want to talk about ROI. How about just walking an owner or end user through a project, having them have the phone up and viewing exactly where a desk is going to go, exactly where this wall is going to be.
Yep.
Oh, this closet is actually this small. I thought it was going to be bigger. Well, no, we got to move this wall, right? How about doing that before you get steel in there, before you're throwing sheetrock up? It saves an immense amount of money, right?
Yep.
So,
and then get that sign off, get that digital sign off right there, right? View the plans, view the model. Get the sign off right there in the field, get it all out and done. Awesome. I have one more question about training duration. We can go, we've gone 2 months, we can get you up and running on the key modules, complete the budget and cost down the road. I like to say, estimate about 3 months, 3 to 4 months is kind of the comfortable implementation, but we can go faster if you guys need it. All right, upcoming webinars, have that April 27th circled. Really excited about one of our key Rivet folks joining us for that one. And hope to see you guys in there. Email us, Dave_Thomas@Trimble.com, Rob_Filer@Trimble.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. Requests for what to focus on next time, feedback, more questions.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Take care.
Appreciate your time. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.